Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be giving you guys my predictions on the Disney Pixar Cars Diecast lineup for 2023. Now in this video I will mainly go over what cars I think will be releasing next year based off evidence from both the lineup of cars from 2021 and 2022. I will be going over possibilities for cars in singles, multi-packs, and larger scale releases. And so we are going to begin with the mainline set of cars. Then we'll kind of move on forward to the Cars on the Road lineup. And without further ado, let's begin. Based on evidence from both 2021 and 2022, it is clear that Mattel has these certain trends that they have when it comes to releases. There are always certain groups of cars that tend to have many diecasts with similar characteristics. Mainly speaking only of 2021 and 2022, since these trends are much more clear to see within these years, and unlike prior years from like 2020 and behind, they didn't have any like specific series in the diecast lineup. Now, when looking back at 2021 in terms of new releases, you can see the Mattel focused heavily on Thomasville Racing Legends, racing tractors, and among some others. So, looking at the Thomasville Racers, you can see that they released, I think, 9 new characters and 3 re-releases. So, that is a lot. And these guys were commonly found across all the cases of the year. So, that was really something you guys were able to see as kind of a trend. As for the racing tractors, they too were in abundance with 4 new releases and 1 re-release. So that one also kind of shows some kind of focused kind of commitment for Mattel. A smaller trend that you could see in the lineup as well were uncanceled cars, 3 of which in the 2020 line out of the entire year were uncanceled cars that were previously canceled before, such as 95 and 51 Van Mater, Lightning McQueen as Easter Buggy, and the Snowmobile. All those were old canceled releases. And they also even took a lot of time to release or re-releasing characters such as basically any of those characters are part of the press. So a lot of releases and 2 new releases. And they were also really kind of into holiday cars, in which they had Holiday Hotshot McQueen, Cruiser, Christmas Cruiser Ramon, the Easter Buggy, Lightning McQueen is the Easter Buggy, and then the entire Christmas lineup, in addition with Mummy, Luigi, and Ghost Guido. So that's really something you guys can see in 2021. As for 2022, it is a little less clear to see what trends were going on there, since it was kind of a big, just bunch of cars. But what I saw in that year is that it was mainly about re-releases and not so much on new releases, due to the fact that they didn't have any real new releases for the main line, excluding Cars on the Road. Now, Mattel, I saw, were really pushing for cars that haven't been released in years. And I'm talking about cars that haven't been released since 2009 up until about 2014. So that's kind of really crazy. And even if you look at the list of cars up there, more specifically, or some of the highlights of them are being definitely the Damage King, who hasn't been released since 2010, Marco and Barney Storman, also from 2010, and then, of course, all the other characters who haven't been released in years that Mattel are just now re-releasing. And also, they were also kind of relying on the Rusty cars. You can see throughout all the cases, they released Donna Pitts, Jonathan Wrenchworth, Craig Foster. They released all those characters throughout this year, and it just made sense that they are going through all these groups of cars as trends for what they will be releasing. With that being said, we can safely assume that the upcoming year is going to be very similar to what 2021 and 2022 are doing, which are keeping a trend of diecasts in the entire line. Now, similar to 2021, from what we've already seen in 2023, they have already been re-releasing quite a bit of Thomasville racers, such as Duke Coulters, Jet Robinson, and Randy Lawson. So they have been releasing, they're already releasing those guys among some others. So it is kind of evident that 2023, more likely than not, will feature a lot more of those Thomasville racers based off what we've seen on the past years. And hopefully this means some new characters, with some possibilities being Buford Camshaft, Levi Machan, or even Rusty Dipstick. So all those are characters who haven't been released, who are also Thomasville racers, which all have the possibility of being released next year. Also, in addition to that, we haven't really seen any other kind of, since there hasn't really been many reveals for that year so far, there hasn't been any real other evidence on trends that are going on. But in my predictions at least, I really hope that they bring back a kind of trend of the retro Radiator Springs characters, or even the possibility of some of the unreleased Thailand Piston Cup racers like Eugene Karbareski, Ernie Gearson from Cars 1. All those characters I would love to see come out next year. Now, as for cars on the road next year, I believe it's safe to say that the cars that they'll be releasing, most likely, or at least part of the year, will definitely have to do with the Salt Flats or the Circus cars. Because when looking back at 2022, as of what we've seen, Mattel has really been releasing more for the Circus and Salt Flats than any other diecast cars. Like, there's Griswold, and then there's the upcoming Doug Crankle. All those characters are all part of other episodes, but they really release Salt Flats and Circus in, bulk. Now, those, I'm pretty sure, will most likely kind of be highlights of the year for 2023. But also, I have some more evidence on who could be coming out next year based off promotions. Now, as many of you guys have probably seen, there's the Cars on the Road map pamphlet, which has the poster, and on the back shows a little map traveling across the entire route that Mater and McQueen took. And it shows some new artworks of cars, in which it includes the Ghost car, a new Circus car, and some of the characters from the Road Rumblers episodes. In which it even included the Doug Crinkle artwork, which we just recently got revealed to be a diecast coming. So it's safe to assume that any of those artworks that you've seen are gonna be diecast coming out very, very soon, and hopefully this year. And so those I'm really hoping for. And I also really have faith, since Mattel is somewhat working with deluxes in the single lines and hopefully some multi-packs. I really hope that they will most likely release variations of Ivy, or even some metal diecast versions of the Dino cars, which would be really, really nice to see. Now, the whole Roll and Chomp Dino, that is a large-scale plastic release, and I'm willing to bet Mattel will probably release some more other dinosaur cars in that line, most notably being the Spinal Crank Shafterix. So I can really be sure that will be coming out. Even looking at the color changers from last year, like Dats Jammin', Revo Kos, and the Doug Crinkle, who's also upcoming in Color Changers line, they're all having metal diecast releases. Thus, why I believe that some of the other characters that have gone as color changers will most likely be making a return as real diecasts. Anyways, everyone, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like and hit the subscribe button for more content on this channel. Hope you guys are all going to enjoy your holiday time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.